models. So this part here is cortex. This part here, medulla. This kind of open part is pelvis, and this part here, hilus. Right. Okay. So this is to show you the larynx, but it's kind of hard. The larynx is sort of all inside there, but basically the larynx is what lets air in to fill up your lungs, to oxygenate the blood, but also to vibrate your vocal cords so you can speak, right? This is a good example of
Epiglottis?
the epiglottis, okay? Thyroid gland, you've got your trachea with the little things on the back. Parathyroid, okay, it's not on your list, but just here. All right, so the real key here is that this shows you how the epiglottis comes down and covers over the trachea, right? Questions? Okay. All right, so integument. And any questions on integument, you're going to be asked on this. Thank God, not on the cat. So the things you need to know are, you need to know the 5 layers. If you're asked a layer, you need to use the word stratum in front of it. Okay? So there's 5 layers where?
In keratinosis skin?
In the epidermis.
In thick skin. And where does thick skin occur?
In the soul.
Palm of the hand, sole of the feet. Okay. So the 5 layers are, starting from the bottom, stratum germinativum, then stratum spinosum, and then this layer, granulosum. This layer, you can see, is only present on the palm or the sole. So this is your 5th layer, stratum lucidum, and then your upper layer is stratum corneum. So let's go backwards, and we don't have to say stratum. So this is corneum, lucidum, granulosum, yes, spinosum, germinativum. One of the questions, in fact, my other group asked me, but so did Ms. Keem's group as I walked in a little bit early, is how can you tell is it basal lamina or basement membrane? And the fact is that it's actually underneath your bottom layer of the epidermis. So if the question says, what layer is the arrow pointing to, the layer would be one of your stratums, okay? If it said what structure and it pointed here, it would be basement membrane or basal lamina.
You get extra when you say membrane?
You know what? It's not going to be on there. So, and the reason why is because you can't really tell. I mean, really, it would be like a line underneath your stratum germinativum. Okay, so epidermal ridges are the ridges made by the epidermis, and they cover the, what are these things? Dermal papilla. So you have a dermal papilla sticking up from the dermis, and then you have a little cap of epidermis on top. So this is the epidermal ridge, and this is the dermal papilla.
The ridge is the cap.
How would they
and
label
the
that on there?
papilla is the heels.
So that
the
orange
papilla's-
thing is the ridge? The orange?
Well, the ridge is the ridge.
But I thought you just said that was the basal lamina.
Basal lamina is under it.
The basal lamina is under it, but it's the actual shape of the epidermis that allows the dermal papilla to fit in there. So if you think it's going to be too hard to ask that, you're probably right. But you know what it is anyway. So if there was a sticker here, what would you say?
Dermal papilla.
That would be easy to ask. Epidermal ridges, basal lamina, not so easy to ask. Okay, so the other things you need to know is you need to know This part here.
Hypodermis.
That's the
Structure, not layer.
Follicle?
That's your hair follicle. Okay, what's this?
shaft.
Shaft of the hair. The root is, I guess, this part here. Down at the bottom. I wouldn't worry too much about that either. What is this?
Erector
Erector pili muscle. All right, so what is this?
Sebaceous gland?
Sebaceous gland. What is this?
Sweat gland.
Or also known as a sudoriferous gland. The other, let's see, this is what kind of tissue here?
Adipose.
And what layer is that?
Sub,
Hypodermis or
subcutaneous.
subcutaneous, right. So this is dermis, and you have your papillary part with your papillary ridges. You have your reticular part, and then you have your hypodermis or subcutaneous layer. Then we have nervous tissue. On this model, it's shown in yellow, and you have two things that were new that we didn't learn about when we were looking at integument. One is the more superficial things, tactile corpuscle, also known as Meissner's, Meissner. Yes, extra credit if you give me both.
What's the
MEISSNER?
Meissner. Meissner's corpuscle or tactile corpuscle. They're superficial, so they're light touch, vibration, air movement.
I was gonna say when
Right, tactile. All right. So the deeper ones are called what? Lamellated or Pacinian corpuscles. Those are the big ones. And they're deep. So what kind of touch do you think they're going to get? Deeper touch. Pretty easy.
Nervous tissue?
Hmm?
Did you say about those were nervous tissue?
Yeah. All the yellow is nervous tissue. So there's other little nerves floating around in there, arteries, veins. I think it says vessels on there.
So what about tissues?
The tissues, basically those are the different kinds of tissues. So if there's a layer, if there's a marker here and it says what kind of tissue is this, you would say epithelial. If it's pointing here and says what kind of tissue is this, you would say nervous. If it was here, you'd say adipose. What else is on there?
Smooth muscle.
Loose areolar connective tissue, we know, is in your dermis, right? From way back 100 years ago. But that's another example of why you have to read
Which
the
one's
question.
smooth? Yeah.
Smooth?
All the erector pili.
What kind of tissue is this?
Smooth muscle tissue.
Smooth muscle tissue. Okay. What happens when it contracts?
You get goosebumps.
Your hair stands up and you get goosebumps. What else? Look where it is. So it squeezes the sebaceous glands and squeezes out sebum.
Test.
Okay. Anything else on that list?
Is,
Any questions about any of the models?
is the loose